Yeah. Hello. Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Who's the first person to join us today? Hello, hello. Hello. Hello, Favor. Good evening. You're the first person I can see. Hello, Yetunde. Good evening. Good evening, Julie. How are you? Oh, Tatiana, good evening. Thank you for joining. Guys, as you're coming in, please start to share immediately. Hello, Jeff. Welcome. Justine. Good evening. Kaz, good evening. Favor again, good evening. Patrick, good evening. Justine, how are you? Rind, good evening. Jude, good evening. Bonjour de Quebec. Okay, I guess you're in Canada. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. You're welcome to the program today. Today is Kingdom Fruits, and you already know how Kingdom Fruits is an inspiring program. Good evening, Yinka. Good evening, Jane. Kaz, good evening. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all for joining. Isko, good evening. Thank you all for joining. Please start to share. I haven't seen anyone shared yet. Maybe Facebook just haven't notified me of anyone sharing. You may have shared already, but if you haven't shared, please share now. And also don't forget to invite your friends individually. So you don't need to just share it. You should, as well as sharing, could you please also invite people individually? They will be inspired. This is such an inspiring program. You cannot fail to find value in the hour that you spend in this program. So please invite as many people as possible. AK, good evening. Hello, Vivian. How are you? Thank you for joining. Thank you all for joining. Please start to share. Thank you. Okay, I hope you've had a good weekend so far. Rufaro, good evening. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Dr. Sunday is here, so we will start the program shortly. Thank you, Yinka. I can see that you shared with 10 other people, but twice as many people are online and they haven't shared. So only less than half of the people watching me right now have shared. So guys, let us join hands together and share. Thank you very much. Thank you, Vivian. Hello, Stella. Good evening. Chioma, good evening. Thank you for joining. Nondo, good evening. Apute, good evening. Anne-Marie, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. Ifeoma, good evening. Thank you. Please start sharing as you're coming in. Oh, thank you, Jane. You just said you've just shared. Appreciate that. Gloria, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, without further ado, we're going to start this program today. Saka, good evening. Ifeoma, again, good evening. Adebonojo Abiodun, good evening. Thank you, Pastor Ernest. I see that you shared. Thank you, Chioma, also. I've seen that you shared. Ayodeji, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, guys, we attempted to have the meeting today. I thought if I don't share that, then, you know, it's on my mind, so let me share it. We attempted to have the meeting today. We sent out the instructions, and some people joined. I just want to appreciate the people that joined and also joined on time. So guys, I'm really grateful for that. We spent over an hour with people coming in and out. Yes, there were technical issues, but we also had the challenge with people not joining as instructed. So there are two issues on our side, which is the technical part, and then there's the part of not as many people joining, and even when they joined, they were significantly late. So we didn't proceed with the meeting for the Movement Against Deception in the church. So what Dr. Sunday asked of us and everyone that is interested in the movement is to write directly to him. So if you're interested and committed to this movement, what you're required to do is to write directly to Dr. Sunday's email, which is pastor@godembassy.org, pastor@godembassy.org. Tell him about your commitment and your proposal for the movement. What would you like to see in the movement? What efforts are you going to put in the movement? What resources, time are you going to put in the movement? So write that and send it to him so he would know what your commitments are. And then we would set another meeting for those who are committed. This wouldn't just be a general meeting, but those who are committed and who have shared their proposal. So that way we're not spending time. Dr. Sunday spends a lot, not spend. I should know the difference between time by now. Invest a lot of time with us on various levels. This being one of them, the Kingdom Fruits, and we're having another program at 9 p.m. Ukraine time, and many other programs that he sets for us. These are investments. So we also need to share what our time and investment would be for this movement in particular. So if you want to move forward with this movement, please write your proposal and also how keen or what your commitment will be for the movement against deception in the church. You can still go ahead and complete the form. I will still ping the form so that we'll have your contact details for those who are committed, okay? So we'll extract the information of those who are committed and then give them more information to move forward or to go further. So without further ado, hello Ojo, how are you? Or should I say Palumi, good evening, how are you? So we're going to start now. I'm going to turn the camera to Dr. Sunday now and we'll get started.
Hello everybody, good evening. Welcome to another day and another opportunity when we could learn a little bit about the possibilities of that all of us have in Christ Jesus and in the kingdom of God. And I want you to hear today the story of one person that has decided to be an agent of God, just by having the good fortune to have come across the SA platform. And this platform, this live broadcast, and the fact that you are here today is one of those good fortunes for each and every one of us. So it is a good fortune that God has honored you by giving you the opportunity to have come across this teaching. Now, what you do with the opportunity is your business. It's your choice. But if you really see this as an opportunity and it's a blessing, it will be good for you to maximize the opportunity for yourself. And the very first step to maximize this opportunity is by going to make sure that you listen to as many series as possible. Not just as many messages of Dr. Sunday Adelaja as possible, but series. It's better for you to do them in series. And so please, go series by series. And that is what will help you to get the most from these materials that are out there. Somebody said it's a gold mine, and someone said that the stuff that are on YouTube there, that actually this person said is worth more than, in his own estimation, is worth more than all the wealth of Bill Gates. Because it is deliverance, it is empowerment, it is something that's capable of changing millions of lives. And very few people are aware of it. So today I'm going to share with you the story of somebody whose life has been absolutely transformed thanks to less than a year of his interaction on this platform. So here we go. And many of you know the hero of today, the person we are profiling today. Many people who have been active on the SA platform. If you are a member of this family, if you are the SA family, you definitely know Jeff or Jefferson. So we are profiling Jefferson Uzoma today. This is Jefferson Uzoma. So here it goes. Jefferson was born 41 years ago in Lagos, Nigeria. And he moved to the US 8 years ago. He did his master's in project management, and I think his first degree was in soil and water resources management engineering. He came across my teachings only in September 2016. So I don't know if he missed out on the messages before that, or he has had the opportunity to go back to listen to those other ones before then. But as the case might be, what he has got since September is more than enough, I think, from the result that he has. And you know, one very interesting thing he said here is, he said, ever since I started listening to Dr. Sunday Adelaja from September 2016, listen, he said, I can't even recognize myself anymore. That is well said. I can't even recognize myself anymore because of the life transformation that the teaching has brought to my life. My eyes are opened. So I've been truly blessed by God ever since I stepped my feet on American soil. I've worked in various capacities as a software quality assurance analyst, software business systems analyst, enterprise software systems analyst, recently IT software consultant. I have a call of God on my life and was formally ordained as a pastor in August 2004. While in school, I was a campus pastor and did also try establishing a ministry, Believers Nation, back in Nigeria just before leaving for the United States. Even while in the US, I also did attempt establishing same and did run services. So this guy has been ambitious, and not just ambitious, he's been what they call zealous. He's been zealous for God. And what he's saying is just bringing to memory how many such zealous people we have in the body of Christ and in the church that are just wasting away. And this is one of the, Mario, please write this down. This is one of the wisdom I'm going to give to Jeff here. Jeff, you've got to step out there and believe God that God is going to bring to you people who are potentially very capable and who potentially are not just called of God, but people who have potentials in the church. I feel that God wants to charge you, Jeff, to pay attention to God's children that He has gifted, that He had called to the churches, but who have actually gotten lost in the churches. So there are a lot of people just like you used to be. So I'm talking of people who are gifted, who are zealous, who want to do something for God. But church has just messed them up. And they have just been lost in the wilderness, in the ocean of church. They have been drowned in the river of the church. And church life has just incapacitated them and rendered them absolutely almost redundant. So I feel that you have to do like an outreach, Jeff. Even say it like that. Are you feeling you are lost in the church? Are you in the church and you can't find your place? Are you there in the church and you feel you are being wasted? You are wasting away. Your life is going by. Come. I was like that. I can help you. You know, there must be a cry out to people like this, especially people in Africa and people of African descent. And I feel that God really wants to use you to reach out to those kind of people, Jeff. So think about this. So anyway, I knew that church, as I was doing it, was draining me. You see, that's what he says here. Church was draining me and repetitive. You see, the same thing. You have to reach out to people and ask them, is the church draining you? Is the church becoming boring? Is it becoming repetitive? I needed to hear the words in my spirit that will awaken the giant in me. I knew I represented the future of the church, and the visions I was getting was not adding up with my present hour realities. But Dr. Sunday Adelaja's teachings on conversion, do you people know that I've not even really thought about conversion to the end yet? Whatever information I gave to you people about conversion is good, it's enough for everybody, but I've not gotten to the nitty-gritty yet. By the time I get to the nitty-gritty of conversion, it's going to blow you people's mind, because actually that teaching is from Albert Einstein's, one of Albert Einstein's doctrines. I mentioned it a little bit this time, but I actually have a more detailed scientific expression and breakdown of that teaching on conversion. So, but you don't have any problem because you're a science student, so you'll be able to develop that by yourself. So your teaching on conversion was the key to me, for me. And I knew in my spirit there was more beyond the four walls of the church. Dr. Sunday Adelaja's teaching was my launching pad. All of a sudden, the lion in me was awakened, and I began to run again, because listening to you stirred up the giant within. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things you have to do, Jeff. Maybe Myra, you need to write that as well. To actually help awaken people, the giant within people, maybe by connecting them to DSS teachings, to those YouTube messages, or to the blog. That's beside you mentoring these people by yourself. So what are my fruits? Look what he said, the first fruit. The first fruit that Jeff mentioned. You can't believe the way he phrased it here. He said, I fired my Uncle Sam job. He's the one, he was not fired. He fired the job. He dismissed Uncle Sam. I fired my Uncle Sam job while working as a subject matter expert on automation of trading systems using electronic data interchange technology for a multinational company that manufactures aircraft and design health systems, and a software security contractor, General Dynamics IT, GDIT. I encountered your teachings on why losing your job is a blessing, and then the teaching on conversion. I was well paid, so I thought, but I realized how much of my time, even though I was well paid, but I realized how much of my time I was giving away. So I decided to fire my Uncle Sam job and went out on a limb of faith to restructure the course of my life. I needed to be direct in order to take control of my affairs. So this is when my journey began. I was unemployed for 3 months, so he had to take that step of faith, step out in faith. Left the job, step out in faith. For 3 months, he didn't have a job. And even though I was highly skilled and employable, I refused to go back to Uncle Sam's job intentionally. So he was actually walking by faith and trying his own faith, right? It was by far the toughest and the roughest 3 months of my life. And I hope Julie is listening, because Julie just did the same thing. She just fired Uncle Sam's job, a very good, highly paid job that she has as well. And she moved to Ukraine. So, and she's hearing this. So it might be a few months of tough time as well. But see, that's what he's talking about here. Go through that time of faith. And then what began to happen is that miracles started happening. I had been planning to buy another house, even though I was well qualified for a loan of any amount I wanted because of my background. I just couldn't make up my mind on a particular property. And it seems there was always one factor or the other that made the transaction of buying a house difficult. But to God be the glory. By the end of 3 months, a military couple I met asked me to take over their $500,000 value home with the existing mortgage. All I had to do was transfer the deed to my name. So with money, no money down. So that is a major. So can you imagine it? When he was working, he couldn't get a job like that. When he was highly paid, it was when he was not working, when he was living by faith, that he got the house without money down. That is God. So, but the most important thing is that he was able to set himself free. So you will be wondering, what was he doing? What will he do when he fired the Uncle Sam system, Uncle Sam job? He started building his own life according to his own projection. He started building his own life according to God's demand and God's will for his life. And of course, he started building himself up. Listening to more messages, building himself into the kind of person that he wanted to see himself be. Secondly, the second major fruit of his life, for this less than about 6 months or 8 months since he has been listening to me. Secondly, because of the insight I got from Dr. Sunday Adelaja's teaching, I started my own technology consulting firm, you see. So it set himself, not that it's not working, but it set himself free from Uncle Sam system and started, managing his own life and his own time and doing enough work for him to be free to fulfill his own mandate. So he started his own consulting firm and finally was able to secure a contract. So you see, he was able to secure a contract of $600,000 US for consultants. 600, that's more than $500,000, where I consult for my own county government and Arundel County as an independent IT contractor. This is why it's been easy for me to come to Kyiv for training. Yeah, actually, it was in Kyiv in April, and then it was in Kyiv in May again. So, like in 2 months, twice in 2 months. That's because he started his own company. He said before, when I was working for Uncle Sam, this one everybody can understand what you mean here. I could only have 3 weeks off in a year. And here he was in 2 months, he has spent 3 weeks here in Ukraine. So he could have all the time he wanted for himself and, and fulfill the purpose and will of God for himself, for his life. But now I have unlimited time to vacate because I work for my own company. Brilliant. Now, the third major breakthrough in his life. The first one is that he fired his Uncle Sam job. Second one is that, he got a house. Third one is that he funded his own company. Fourth one, he has a contract for $600,000, and now I think it's more than 4 now. So the next thing is done, is able to do, you can't believe this. My technology company is now part of the Nigerian Transformation Project, where we intend to see what he wants to do with Nigerian Transformation Project. I want to export future technologies to Nigeria. I now have several volunteers already on ground in Nigeria working with me. Some of our visions are like this, are these. One, we want to build IT technology parks in Nigeria. And this is one of the major, I have 100,000 projects written in my papers, what I plan to go and do in Nigeria, 100,000. And this is just one of them. And God is, I just wrote these things down. I don't know who will do them. And see, God is just giving the same thing into people's hearts. And so to build technology parks in Nigeria. Number 2, build the first Nigeria self-driving cars. blueprint roadmap. Self-driving cars for Nigeria. Beautiful. Number 3, create roadmap to turning Nigeria into a knowledge-based economy. This is and I'll tell you what, if he had been working for Uncle Sam, even if he had these desires in his heart before, there is no way he was going to have even enough time to be able to implement them. But now he could actually develop them, implement them more, because he is now in charge of his own time and is in charge of his life. So the next big thing that God has done through him is saying, how God bossed my theology. That is the name of one of my messages. If you have not listened to that message, please go and look for it on YouTube. How God bossed my theology is one of my testimony, my own story. So after listening to Dr. Sunday Adelaja's teaching on how God bossed my theology, you cannot, and then another teaching, you cannot serve God without serving people. My eyes of understanding suddenly opened. And for the first time, I understood and now have a hold of my own calling. I practically learned how to love people God's way. And this is the guy that had all the zeal before. Back in Nigeria and in the US, he had the zeal to want to serve God. How could you serve God without knowing how to love people God's way? So, I mean, it's no accident that he couldn't be as successful when he was out there, because, and this is one of the reasons why we started this Kingdom Fruits series. We want to use this series to awaken the church of the Lord Jesus Christ. We want to use this series to actually galvanize together people of all faith and people of all persuasions all over the world, especially Christians who want to really realize and accomplish the resources and the potential that they have in themselves. And anybody that, we just want to demonstrate to the world what church is meant to be doing and what church is meant for. And this is the kind of result the church is supposed to be producing in the life of every single believer in the church. And I don't know, we've got to work hard to convince the whole world that the church is not meant for cultural activities, and that church is not meant for festivities. Church is not meant for celebrations. Church is not meant for festivals. Church is not about some religious duties and activities. Church is a place that is meant to make people into deliverers. Church is a place where people are supposed to be molded into sons for God and into deliverers for the world. So church, right now, many people cannot even imagine church without people singing or music, but you don't necessarily have to have that to have church. The bottom line of the church is that you are raising a deliverer. People who will now carry the kingdom of God and impose it upon every sphere of the society. So that's what the church is all supposed to, that's the bottom line of the church. Church is not supposed to be measured by how much people can dance or how much people can sing or how much singers have come out of the church. That might be a good one of the spheres of life that they want to influence, but that's too little. And they are not even competing with unbelievers. Just singing among Christians and competing with Christians and say, well, I have the greatest number of singers. That they cannot even compete with secular Christians in that same, secular singers in that same country, talk less of in the world. So, but we are talking about church raising up sons and deliverers who will change the world. Like these technological things that we're talking about here. So, he understood how to love people God's way. That's a major breakthrough right there. Now he can do ministry. He can even do ministry without starting a church. He can even do ministry without, calling it a ministry. He can even do ministry just every day. He says, okay, next point. Facebook Live. I also started helping mentor others to do the same thing that I did, how to use my strategy of buying houses without money so that they could quit their jobs, their Uncle Sam job, and serve God and fulfill purpose. So this is a very, very important ministry. Maybe you want to have a house in America, or you like in America because you already have in England, but you like to have in America. Yeah, maybe you should talk to him. And Julie just quit her job. Maybe you also want to exploit how to have a house in America. Especially if you not need to put down too much money, or even without money, he says. So that's interesting. But the idea is to set people free so that they will be able to fulfill their destiny and pursue their dreams and goals. So he says, I'm using Pastor Sunday's books, his own experience, his own knowledge, then Pastor Sunday's books, like Stop Working for Uncle Sam, of course, How to Secure Your Financial Future. And I also started a real estate company and bought my first cash purchase home in the US after the other one, right? Now my second house in 1 year, where I intend to use as a rental property. Amazing. Next point, using the same system I've developed, I have acquired my third house, cash-free. Meaning, I now take over distressed properties from homeowners who are defaulting in their payments. I restore them and convert them to tenant properties, generating income for them. IG, you don't want to buy? You better get in touch with Jeff while you are here in Ukraine to go and become a property in America. Yeah. Because that's not quite the same strategy I used, but I actually made my own first $1 billion through American property market in Florida. But I started with $10,000. So, but he has a whole idea. He has a whole technology, know-how. Now, but listen to the big one. Listen to this one. But he said, just like you, Dr. DSA, I intend to raise 100 millionaires in US dollars. You better join the trail. And I think this is what every church is supposed to be doing. It's supposed to be easy. And I'm going to do that in Nigeria because we want to make it easy for people. But what my own lesson is that people must, first of all, learn kingdom principles and fall in love. That's my own lesson from my own experience in Ukraine. That people must fall in love with God alone and above everything else first before, you make them a millionaire. Otherwise, it's not worth it. Okay, next point. I started a non-profit foundation called the Quadra Foundation. Also, and that is quadraimpact.org. So he has a website for it. The Quadra Foundation is also registered now in the US, the Quadra Foundation, where we have 4 core objectives. So what are the objectives? Number 1, provision of free healthcare. Oh, by the way, I owe you $10 million US. I have partnership agreement with you, in words, but it's going to be indeed $10 million US. I want to raise $10 million US for him to do this project. So but this is another one. They wanted to, the one I'm raising for him, hospital. But this is another one. What he wants to do, they want to import 400 mobile health trucks. 400 mobile health trucks to Nigeria alone, to export to Nigeria. 400 mobile health trucks are delivering healthcare to the rural undeserved areas. I'm going to show the picture is sent here of the mobile truck, hospital, mobile hospital. Mobile hospital, can you say it? Say it good enough? If they have 400 of these, this will just be gorgeous. Wow, this is almost, 400 will almost be for every local government. It will be one half of all the local governments in Nigeria. It will be one for 2 local governments, but that will be wonderful. 400. We have almost 800 local governments in Nigeria. Next point, provision, the next goal of this NGO, to provide portable drinking water in Nigeria. That's a big problem in Nigeria. They don't always have clean water. So under the portable drinking water project, that's a project he's got. We are planting companies and organizations to improve and develop access to quality drinking water and build better infrastructures. So hospital, water. Number 3, provision of food. So we have the food provision, under the food provision project, we are partnering with donor agencies around the world to promote new, emerging, and advanced technological breakthroughs in agriculture and improve the food baskets of nations in eliminating hunger and also feeding displaced citizens. Beautiful. Next point, economic and educational empowerment. Under the economic and education empowerment program, we are linking up with head of states and presidents to develop a blueprint for the economic success and model new learning systems for nations. He's 41 years old already, but you see, he's running. He's like, he doesn't want to waste any more time at all. 41. Yeah, I think I understand him. He has to really run this time. He has to really run. Because before he realizes he's going to be 50 soon. My own teaching is that by the time you are 40, you should know that you are ready to die. But if you don't make it before 40, then in your 40s, you must run like a madman. You must really work hard to make sure that before 50, you do enough that you are ready to die. So I could see that he's really following that. He's trying to convert as much as possible. And he's trying to fit in as much as possible in a short time. Then the next thing they want to do through the next vision he has, is outreaches. They want to be doing outreaches. We are having our first outreach in July already. So he's traveling again. He just got back from here. And he's traveling again to Nigeria and see what they're going to do. Listen, this outreach in July, what he plans to do is, we want to give cash grants out to 10 widows who will go and start their business. This is in July, and I want to write that for him. I want to encourage you to do, there is one Nigerian guy they call Osage or something like that. He gets money and distributes money for the needy people in Nigeria. He is doing actually what the church is supposed to be doing too in that country. So, what the good thing he does about it is that he shoots it. He actually takes the video of what he's doing. Now, as Christians, we know that we don't necessarily need to do that, but the Bible also says that let your light shine, and let people see your good works and glorify you. So we need to make the good work seen. We need to make the good work come. So that's why I understood what that Osage is doing. So I would like to encourage him, Jeff, to actually shoot or do live broadcasts about these things he's doing, or to shoot them and then put them on so that we could broadcast them and people would know what the church is supposed to be doing and that somebody is responding. So we are going to sponsor 10 widows to start their own businesses. Number 2, we want to distribute 41 bags of rice. Number 3, diagnosing. We want to diagnose treat, and give free drugs to 300 sick people. So he has a concrete number of what he's going to do just this July alone. Just in July alone. Next one, install portable water, borehole drinking water in a village without water at all. That is, is it not better to use your tithe and offering?
To do this.
A month, if you do this every month, this is just one person. Use your tithe and offering to do this 1 month. Every month to do something like this, using your tithe and offering. Doing this, providing 10 widows every month, different widows, and helping them start businesses. Every month, another 10 widow with your tithe and offering. Then distribute 41 bags of rice every month to another set of hungry people every month. And then diagnose and treat and treat 300 sick people every month with your tithe and offering. Install borehole, drinkable water in a village where they've never had it every month.
That is mobile church.
That is church. That is church. And that is why I'm a strong advocate that our tithe must be used to do things like this, rather than take to some churches where they'll just mess them up and use them to buy another jet or another plane or another suit for the pastor. Then finally, another thing that Jeff has started to do, he has started to write books. And he said he has written 6 books, or he's writing 6 books already. Number 1 book, Stop Preaching and Start Ministering. Beautiful. Stop preaching, stop talking, just start ministering. Number 2, Conversion and the Value Chain. So he's writing a book on conversion and the value chain. The first one is to tell people to stop preaching. In Nigeria, people just preach. Let them start ministering. Conversion and the value chain. I think even not just Nigeria needs that one. The whole Christianity, the worldwide Christianity needs that book. Number 3, you've been crowned king. Wow. Okay. Everybody must be the king of their. That's why it's good that we're calling each other kings and co in DSA family. Next point, the Principles of Creation is the next book that is written. Principles of Creation. Next one, Understanding of Life's Priority. Wow. And then he has also created a portal for himself, jeffersonuzoma.com. And then he has another project all on conversion. Conversion. I was so inspired by your teachings on conversion that I started a portal. He started a portal just on conversion. And it's called www.everythingconversion.com. Wow. Where I intend to expand on everything I learned on conversion and write manuals for corporations. Number 9, ministry. Began a discipleship meeting in the base. I started now reaching out as a ministry. In my basement, in the basement of my house, where I now intend to train and teach DSA teachings and HMT in the US. Then I've also started maximizing my musical talent. I began a ministry where I sing at people's wedding to leverage to create influence and build the kingdom. Beautiful. I've also written 5 songs since the last HMT. And my single album is being worked on right now. I finally got a music producer to record my first single. These are the fruits of my life since encountering DSA in September 2016. I am so grateful to God for encountering DSA's teachings. I'm going to try to call Jeff now. While I do that, Mayowa is going to do what she does best. What is his Skype number again?
Hello everyone, how are you? Sorry, just sent.
Yeah, go ahead, Anton. Go ahead.
Okay. Vivian Taylor is clapping with lots of hearts. Lisa is also clapping with a high five. Lola Sharonka is clapping. Bumi, this is just mind blowing. That's Bumi. Vivian is clapping again. Ola is saying great, Jefferson. Yetunde is saying nice one, Jefferson.
Please
King Jeff, kudos.
How can I know I have his Skype, but I don't know how to find it because I'm writing his name.
This
His
is
Skype
great.
He should tell me the word. What word should I search for?
USTNG1.
Okay.
William saying this is great. Yetunde is clapping. Lisa is clapping as well. Amarachi is saying, Amarachi, yes, this is mind blowing. Whole Jefferson Uzoma. Yinka is saying, King Jeff, you are simply great. God bless you, your big heart. Ephraim is clapping. Justine is clapping. Pastor Uche is saying, this is beautiful, Jefferson.
Yes.
Wow, that's nice. That's from Kinsley. Yesterday saying, lovely, amazing by Lola. Wow, this is amazing. Vivian again saying, nice, Jefferson. Anastasia is the wild. Elaine is yeah, hello. Amen, sir. That's from Jefferson himself. Quite a few wow emojis. Hello, everyone. That's Ngozi saying that. Okay. Vivian again is clapping and saying, and I am one of them, Jeff. Okay, I think this is for the
millionaires.
Yes. Amazing. From yesterday again. Amarachi clapping. Jane is saying it is very possible in some of these churches to be pastor leader and not love and serve people. As Jane saying that, blessed afternoon. That's William saying that to everyone. A lot of clapping is going on. Nondo is saying, wow, I can't wait to see of Uncle Sam's job. Congratulations.
He wants to see off Uncle Sam's job?
Yes.
Everybody wants to get rid of Uncle Sam now.
Yeah.
They are not waiting for Uncle Sam to fire them. Everybody wants to fire Uncle Sam.
In Jefferson's word. Millie saying powerful and dancing. Hello, David. And okay, Ephraim is saying hello. Bumi's clapping. Mabel says, I'm really looking forward on the day I will say goodbye to Uncle Sam. This is also somebody else saying that, Mabel. Jojo says, sir, I want you to educate the Nigerian parents to support their children to pursue their calling. That's Jojo is saying that. I know what Dr. Sunday may say about that is that you can do that. You should do that.
You be your ministry.
Yes, don't wait for Dr. Sunday to say that. Uforma says, yeah, to do that. You do it. Uforma says, good evening to Pastor and everyone. Thank you, Uforma. Stella says, same here. I cannot hear him very well. Okay.
Okay. I think we should go, if they don't mind.
Yes.
If you all don't mind, let's go and see Jefferson now. I think you people should be eager to get to hear or talk to this Jefferson wonder right now. And so now, hello, Jefferson.
Hello, sir.
Please put off your the volume for your Facebook so that you will just discuss here without the Facebook voice disturbing us.
Okay, I just did.
Okay. Now, everybody wants to fire Uncle Sam, but before we get into that, my own question to you is this: what did you ever? What is it that? What was your greatest surprise? What was your greatest surprise or your major surprise when you began to listen to DSA's teachings? When you came across DSA family? What surprised you the most in the teachings, in the content, in the material that you found here?
Wow, Pastor, words cannot describe the impact that your messages and your teachings bring to my life. You know, I don't take it lightly when I said I can't recognize myself. Maybe the only person who can really know the full impact of not recognizing myself is me, because I knew my mindset before I started listening to you. And thank God that I was able to just wholeheartedly swallow everything I've heard and just started doing and started seeing results. But the most powerful thing that I saw is that your teachings have a way of breaking barriers and just tweaking norms, things that we've come to grow very comfortable with. You see them completely different. And not only do you see them completely different, you have a biblical scriptural backing to every point of view that you take. And for me, I'm asking myself, I've been handling this Bible all this while, yet I didn't come across this thing. How did I miss it? Because I could have gone to church for 100 years and still not seen those things. But with the ease with which you bring these things to life and to light, it just shifts everything for me. Everything. Your teaching on conversion, your teaching on what men want from women and what women want from men, your teaching on love, your teaching on you can't love God without loving people, your teaching on how God was my theology. Like, I was changing per second.
Not by day by day. Day is too much.
It was like, when you watch these movies where the vampire is transformed into something else, I would wake up, like a certain being in the morning, and by evening, I'm completely different from what I woke up maybe 12 hours ago, because I heard 2 hours of your messages or 3 hours of your messages, and it completely just shifts my personality. It's as if I'm having a shape-shifting event is happening to me. Like, I could not completely relate with the new me and who the old me was. So when that began to happen to me, I knew I was onto something. I just knew I had to just drink as much of this message as possible. So I went deep dive. I started taking a binge of all your teachings. I just started swallowing them and just started listening to as many as I can possibly lay my hands on. And then, when I now discovered that they were all on Facebook, I was like, oh my goodness.
On YouTube. On
Translation.
Yes.
And for me, the real word transformation became a reality because, in school we did biology, metamorphosis. The word is metamorphosis. How, the stages of a housefly and the stages of a butterfly, the larva stage, the pupa stage. And they are completely different from one stage to the other. And that's exactly what's been happening to me just listening to your message, And right now, my capacity is like, I don't even have enough time in the day for myself. Like 24 hours of the day is not enough anymore because of all that I've heard, all that I've learned, and how much I know I can do.
Now,
so the key thing for me is just the conversion message.
Now, let me ask you one question. How did you run into DSA family and the teachings? Because many people probably see those teachings or see my picture, but I'm just another, without listening to me, I'm just another preacher. This is just another African or Nigerian pastor. We are so many now. So many teachers, pastors, all kind of people on Facebook. Why did you stop to listen? Why? What attracted you? Why did you take that decision? Did you even know it was going to affect you, change your life like this?
Pastor, I completely had no clue. Honestly, if I had known then I was back in Nigeria. I didn't know how else to get a hold of your messages. I believe back in those days there was no internet or something, so it was a little bit difficult to get a hold of it. I think that day, I don't know who it was that paid for the on-air payments, and you came online and was talking about we're deliverers, and I was like, who is this man talking about the fact that we're deliverers? And when that message ended, I was waiting for more, but it ended, and I was like, where do I find more of this message? So between that time and last year, there was a big gap. I just didn't know how to get a hold of you, your messages on, because most of your messages are in Russia, if you notice.
Yes.
So coming on Facebook and actually opening your mouth and speaking English was the greatest thing that happened to me. So when I saw you again, I was like, that's that man I saw way back there talking about the fact that we're doing. So when I started listening, I knew it. I was like, wow, this is exactly how I felt when I heard 10 minutes back then. But it was like a high tension cable. It was like a high tension, high voltage electricity. It was like a high voltage current just seeping through the Facebook media. It was gushing. It was flowing. It was rushing. I just was drinking. It's as if somebody opened their hose, and I was just drinking from that hose, and I couldn't drink enough. I was drinking, and because I've taken time in the past to develop myself, so I was at a level where every word that you said mattered. I could see deeper than one word you said. Like when you say something, I saw deep into it. So the minute I saw that, I think somebody shared your video or something, this share thing. Somebody shared it on my timeline, and I saw it, and that was it. I was like, whoa, where? And one of those days, you preached about tithes and offerings. I mean, I cried from morning till night, Pastor. I was crying, literally crying, because I knew what my tithes could do, but I had been boxed up in religion. We were teaching on tithes and offering, what our tithes and offering could do, and the impact they could make. I wept, I repented, I asked God for forgiveness, because I was flushing my money down the drain, and I knew the impact I could make. Pastor, let me tell you, there's one of my friends now, the same thing happened to me. I called him, I said, look at what's happening to me. He also is, he has a really good job and all that stuff, but he has the kind of heart that I have. He started doing exactly what I'm doing right now. In his village, they actually called him to come and become king, because this January, he's sending his tithe to his village.
Ooh. And he's been making a difference, eh?
He's been sending his tithe to his village, Pastor. His tithe is enough to literally feed his own village.
Now, you tell me, what was he doing with the tithe before? Where was the tithe going before?
He was sending it to the church here in America. And the man of God was building mansions, buying shares, enjoying his money, but buying Rolls Royce. So when I sat him down and I showed him the same scriptures you taught on Facebook, I walked him through it. He was weeping. That day, since January this year, this guy has been sending tithes and even more to his village. There's a feast in his village now. He feeds the whole village is fed. The whole village. The food that we eat from January, from the first of the month to the end of the month, is from this guy's tithe. Just his tithe alone was enough.
So you want to tell me that there are Christians like this who have this kind of tithe and money and resources, and their villages are suffering?
Yes, sir. Because we neglected the wounded man on the road on our way to the religious activity. We held onto our tithe and said this one belongs to God, because we didn't know who God was.
But God said he is the one who was. He said, when you give, I'm the one who was naked. You didn't give me. I'm the one who was hungry. You didn't feed me. That is God. God is not, he didn't say I'm the one in the church or I'm the one in the pastor. He said, I'm the one who was hungry. I'm the one who is in the prison. I am the one there, not the one in the church.
Pastor, these things are very subtle. But the intensity and the veracity and the authority you brought to this teaching liberated so many of us. That was why this July outreach of having pastor, my tithe is enough. That's just my tithe that Baba did.
Mashakabako sokoloroboko sokobabaka santaya. Shakaboko sokoloro yabakasaka babako sokobabaya yandaya. Shikelere. You mean because if you put a ball hole in a village, it's going to be there forever.
Forever, sir.
And that village never had water.
Let me tell you something about it. In fact, this village I'm talking about specifically is my own village.
No, you are not serious. So you mean your tithe would have been enough to give them this water a long time ago?
Long time ago.
Jeff, when you are talking, please don't move and try to make your telephone stable or not to move so that your sound will be okay for the people listening to us.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
So Pastor, you know, in my village, there's a very influential politician from my village who contested even in the gubernatorial election and, you know, tried to become a governor and all that. That's to tell you how the kind of influential people that comes out of my village. But can you imagine there's no clean water in that village that is accessible to anybody?
My God.
So right now, I am going to sing the first clean water in that village. I'm not the richest, but I can guarantee them that people in that village are going to be wealthy now because I was born in that soil.
My God.
And not just in that village, we're going to duplicate it all over Nigeria. We're going to go to the remote places where people have no access to drinking water, where people are suffering, where people are hungry, and we're going to bless them, Pastor.
So you are telling me that even from your tithe alone, without raising any offering, you could provide not just water, even rice and food and medical service.
Single-handedly, Pastor. Single-handed. I don't need any help from anybody. I can do it myself. I can literally do it. Now, you know, because I sent emissaries, I told them we started doing outreach that we're coming. They wanted to turn it into politics. So we told them this is not a political game. This is a non-profit, because what I did is learning the lesson from HNT, I had to turn it into a system. So
Yes.
So that was why the NGO was born, and the NGO we have about 35 volunteers right now. I've never reached the NGO. We have medical doctors, opticians. In fact, it wasn't mentioned, we're giving glasses to 50 people. We're going to get glasses. We're going to check their eyes, and we're going to give them glasses for free. They're going to walk home with it.
No, do you think that there are Christians also in that village or other villages that might even have tithe enough to also cater for another family or for more family or something like that also?
There is more than enough people in that village to change that village. There is more than it. But because everybody is because the water I opened in my compound, I actually made it public. You know, like it's actually outside, so people can fetch from it. But I didn't do anything like specifically for the whole community. So what I now did is this outreach, which we're going to do one for the community that they can have access to on their own and have drink water whenever they don't have to depend on the one within our compound or close to our house or anything. This will be one for the community, and it's just, I wouldn't even feel that I did anything at the end of the day, because to me it's as if nothing left me.
Okay, let's look at
because of your messages.
Let's look at the number of Christians now in the churches that are bringing fat offering and tithe and offering. What difference could those Christians could have made in the country or in the continent?
Pastor, I think after listening to your message, it is wickedness that we have been perpetrating before now in the name of religion. It is wickedness. It is wickedness. After listening to your message, our eyes are now open that before now, we thought we were practicing religion. But what we're actually practicing was wickedness. It was wickedness. Yes, sheer wickedness. If all the real estate that Nigerian churches own, if 1/3 of it is converted to a hospital, there will be no sick person in Nigeria. Because every street in Nigeria, that real estate could have been converted to a hospital. If 1/3 of all the physical buildings and churches in Nigeria on every street is converted to a school, literally everybody will go to school for free. So the church is more than capable to change that country. We are more than capable. And then, especially those of us in diaspora, because we don't know how much weight we carry, we have no clue. You know, a lot of us just come here and we don't go back home and things like that. But if we can just come back and visit often and come with the mind of Christ, we would see how much impact we can have in Nigeria. Just Nigerians, Christians in diaspora, we are more than capable of changing Nigeria instead of pointing fingers.
Okay, what will you say? For example, I know one Nigerian, not even once, many Nigerians who, I know somebody in, the person even lives in Nigeria. Of course, he doesn't even know that it will help the neighbors who children cannot go to the schools, because children, even in his own church, I just heard something in the church that these people go to, the pastors in the church, they cannot even pay the school fees of their children. And this person, a member of this same church, not even one, I know about 10 of them, they send one of them, one particular family, send $500 to Kenneth Copeland every month, and $500 to the same family, $500 to Kenneth Benny Hinn every month. No, anyway, in short, altogether they send $2,000 every month from Nigeria to these different because their church has said you must sow in good soil or something.
So what better soil than the less privileged around us? Even we're talking about helping pastors' children, we're talking about helping the most less privileged person in church.
Okay, $2,000 a month. What can that do in any village in Nigeria?
My God, Pastor, $2,000 every month will shake it will shake a village. It will shake a village to its foundation, Pastor. And I am sure God will be more satisfied with that offering and pleased with that sacrificial offering that sends them into mega ministries. Because all they do is they just by the time they buy the second jet, then they get the vision for the third jet and the fourth jet and the fifth jet.
They get vision.
The Copeland has planned to buy like 20 jets now. Listen to them.
Wow.
They've gone beyond one jet. So what does this jet paradigm? Like, they are people that your messages would liberate their lives. And I became an advocate. Part of what I want to do in Nigeria is I'm going to be in Nigeria in August. I want to have the radio stations that I've started making contact with. To put your messages on air, on rotation in those local areas so that people can hear the truth for themselves. If your messages, because the data can be a challenge, but if you can put your messages on the radio stations, people can tune in and listen. Pastor, Nigeria, just by listening to you, Nigeria will change.
Wow.
Nigeria will change from the struggle. Listening to you is enough. It's just enough, not even money. Forget about the money now, Pastor.
Are you serious?
I got here because I listened to you. I got here because I listened to you. You didn't give me anything. Just listening to you was all I needed.
Wow.
To get to where I am now. So I know there are multiplied thousands of people like me out there who need to hear what your messages, the insight God has given you, and understand exactly what God expected of us. And you will see the kind of change Nigeria will have.
So you mean listening alone That is already part of Nigeria National Transformation Project.
Just listening alone is enough, Pastor. The Bible says the truth will make you free. The truth will.
So I don't even need to go and begin to build roads and hospitals yet.
No.
Even before I go. You mean even before I go, just to get the word out?
Before you go, we need to saturate the Nigerian soil with your message. They need to be fully saturated with your messages on every TV station. They need to be playing your message on rotation every blessed day, at least 1 hour a day, fact stuff. Because if you say your messages should be played once a week, it's like temptation, it's like stabbing people. You know, then it's another week again.
You know, there is one guy that has done, I don't know how many he did. Maybe he did 200 or 400 messages. He has done it for radio. He has put intro and outro. And he has removed all the comments where I was greeting people and doing the comments. He has removed all the comments. And he has also removed, put them from video into audio. And he has downloaded them into CD kind of thing and iCloud. And they are now like with music, with music and introduction and outro, for like maybe 200 or 400 of them. If anybody wants to do radio, and I'm telling you this and I'm telling everybody else who is listening to me, if anybody wants to do radio, we could send the link or these particular teachings, these audios, to anybody who wants to use them for radio, so that they could, they don't need to do the polishing all over again from the start.
Right. Right. Because I actually I started having conversations with some editors in Nigeria to clean those messages up. But in any case, since it's already done, I would.
Not too many are done. Just about 200 are done, or 400 maybe.
Yes, I am actually contracting. There's a guy I'm talking to already. Igor, I know Igor had mentioned that to me, but when I come for agency, so we're also going to talk about it. I'm going to give his link to Igor. He needed those post-production, whatever. I've already started a conversation with him on that area, strictly for Nigeria. We're going to saturate Nigeria with your messages. And part of just like an offering we pay for the airtime. It's even cheap over there.
Wow.
Like for this, so that the messages can continue to. People need to hear the truth, because people are dying faster. Because religion is killing people in Nigeria. Religion is our number one problem. Our brains are shut down. Nothing is working anymore. We need to flush that religion out of our system.
Okay, if this is what you are saying, Jeff, but you yourself, you said you were frustrated. So it means you couldn't even do anything with the frustration? I mean, before you came to DSA family.
It's suffocating. It's very suffocating. That's why I can never listen to anybody again. There's nobody that can preach anything that will enter into my ear, because once you start talking, I will filter it.
You have filter everywhere.
I mean, those things don't move me anymore.
All the gimmicks and the gymnastics.
It doesn't move me at all. I mean, like, one day I was just asking myself, so what kind of a thing is this? I can't listen to any other person other than DSA, because by the time they start talking, you start seeing loopholes. I'm like, oh my God.
But what I'm thinking is that you said you were a Christian all these years and you are frustrated. You knew something was not working. I want you to describe the frustration you are feeling, because I'm thinking somebody might listen to this who is actually going through that same frustration, that something is not working, but they might not be able to pinpoint it and put their finger to it, that this is what is not working, but they are feeling that same frustration. Can you tell me about that frustration a little bit?
Dr. Sunday, your message, you are the first kingdom man that I had access to all my life. Access, the gift of access is key. There's one thing about listening to a man of God on the pulpit. There's another thing having access to that man of God, and the man of God making themselves available to you. But the first ever kingdom man that I physically met all for my life, who actually demonstrated to me what the kingdom was and what it is to walk in the kingdom and live in the kingdom mindset. You're the very, very first person that I physically have access to. So before now, what I had access to was religion. I only saw the men of God from afar. Even when we were close, there was this elf. They are so far away from you, and they are so high up there, and you're so little down there. The basic thing that I felt like this was not adding up was just glaringly open. But I just could not put two and two together and be able to pinpoint it and say this is exactly what it is in here. So at the end of the day, it was suffocating. I was doing the same thing all over again. And me being somebody that I get bored pretty quickly, I like to do fresh things. I try to get something done and move on to the next one. So for me, just imagine the kind of torment I was living in. Even I was pastoring, it was boring. It was like a weight. And I knew there was something different because they would tell you the experiences and they would sugarcoat it and everything, but nobody gave you the reality until I listened to you. You gave the word of God a meaning. You brought it to human flesh. I could see the person that is doing this thing that is just a man like me, and that gave me hope that I can do exactly. I can demonstrate the things he's demonstrating. Now thank God this series you're teaching on is your call to church.
Yes.
You see, and you mentioned something about, can you see your man of God from afar? You can access it. There's something wrong there. You don't know what's going on in the light.
Yes.
But so you don't know how big that statement is. It's as if that has to be the norm. I knew, quote and unquote, one of these great men of God in Nigeria that, back then, when we started and all that stuff, we were like very close to him. And all of a sudden, one Sunday he just came, he said, nobody can see me again, blah, blah, blah. And that was it. And even back then, he has never gone blown up. He just created that policy that nobody can see him. So he became a bubble. He said, if you want to see me, go and see this person, go and see the other person. From that day onward, that was the last time I saw him. That was the last time I had access to him. That was the end. But he became like a spirit. So whatever he said, whatever he said is what we took. And now, Pastor, and I've just looked back and see my foolishness. It's like I was wasting my time. Because I have a heart for God, and I was just loving God with all my heart and everything I have, but it was just a drain. It was a drain. And as I kept talking to God, I said, something needs to change because this is not working. I've done everything from the bottom of my heart. It's still not, something is not adding up. Sometimes, pastor friends will tell me, when you're preaching, add stories that don't belong there. Tell them that I was standing at an airport, somebody made me give me money. I said, but that didn't happen. I can't say that. They said, no, you have to say it. That's what Jesus would give to you. I said, I've had that on many occasions. Fellow pastors come to me and say, create fictitious testimonies to stir up people's faith. I'm like, but that's a lie. I can't stand there and say, oh, I was standing at an airport, somebody cornered me and gave me $10,000. That never happened. I'm not going to lie. So a lot of things they say on the pulpit,
no, Jeff, you mean people will tell stories that never really happened?
Oh, yes. Oh, all day long, Pastor. Even these miracles, let me give you one example. One of these ministers, it was his own miracle is the way he does it. He has allies. Before he comes to that church, he will send emissaries to that church. They will bury some things in that church compound. And then they will tell him the spots. They should tell him the spots where those things are. So when he comes to minister, he will go and point to those places and say, dig here. His men have actually come to bury those things. Then people start screaming, oh, Calabash just came out from the ground, this and that. It's all a setup. It doesn't exist. Miracles of somebody gave me a car, somebody gave me this, and all. It's just a lie. It doesn't exist. That is meant to build a momentum of people giving them money so that, even though they're saying things that never happened, they will say it is fake. But that is a lie. I'm not going to say that. So as long as I was not willing to add, all the gimmicks and shortcuts, I was stuck on telling the truth. And for some reason, it wasn't working because people were only gravitating towards the shows and in the role plays, So it was suffocating, and it wasn't just working for me. I just knew something wasn't adding up.
But what is surprising for me is that you say you are 41 years old.
Yes, sir.
And what you wrote now, even in July alone, what you are going to do. And then in all the NGO, the plans of the NGO, and 6 books in a year, all these things you have done in a year. And I wonder, so what happened for 40 years? Or how many, when you are a Christian, even for half of those 40 years, even more than half. So what was happening? Where did you spend the last 40 years then? What happened? Hello? Did we lose him? Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you again. Yes. I said, what happened for the past 40 years?
Yes. Pastor, even the 6 books itself is just a modest number because I know I can do more than that now with the things I've discovered. I know if I set a goal for 24 books before the end of the year, I'll write all of them. I'm telling you.
But what happened 40 years now?
Because I haven't met you now, Pastor. I was supposed to meet you.
No, but you are a Christian. Were you not a Christian?
We were being fed junk, Pastor. When you are eating junk, when you produce junk. Look at me now, Pastor. Now, let me tell you my latest visions. Right now, my vision is every time I see myself among head of presidents. This wasn't happening to me before. Now, I see myself among presidents. Sometimes I wake up, I'm like, what kind of vision is this? But it's becoming more and more consistent. I'll just be standing among different presidents of nations. But the difference was there was no conversion. The visions were there, but there was no conversion. That was the missing link. I didn't know how to convert all those spiritual realities to tangible realities. Let me give you an example. We will go to church and they will have a finance convention and they will teach on finance. And there's no one practical example on how to make money on the earth. They only tell us how to make money in heaven.
Heaven?
Yes, sir.
Hey, gospel.
No, Pastor, if I just go do a sample, go into any bookshop, take 200 ministries, pick up their books, their materials on finance, convention, finance. There is nothing that has to do with anything on the earth. Everything is in heaven. How you give money to somebody and then money will multiply. Focus. There is no practical financial intelligence. That's why
everything is happening in the spirit.
Everything is in the spirit. It's a wash. So where are you going with that? If you're listening to that, you're not going anywhere. It's frustration. You listen to finance convention every year. Just go to all these ministries. Listen to their finance convention year after year. It's poverty that the thing is multiplying because people cannot relate with it. There is no direct connection. Everything is in spiritual realm. How money will multiply, how somebody will corner you and give you money, how the wealth of the sinner they will give it to you. I mean, that's laziness. That is indolent and slothful. God is not even going to assign that one to you.
But you now, in the last 1 year, you have been able to buy properties in the essence of $1 million in assets.
I acquired another property on Saturday worth 200K, just with a clip of a finger.
Wow.
Just on Saturday again. Between the time I wrote this and now. Because my change is happening like the speed of light. I told you, sir, when I wake up in the morning and when I go to bed, I see different things. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm something.
Okay, what about people who are watching now and are listening to you who want to be mentored in becoming millionaires and in getting properties? Where should they write to?
Okay, Pastor. So thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for that question. Tomorrow by 4 p.m. Eastern, I'm having my first Facebook Live financial intelligence class.
Very good. 4 p.m. Eastern, that is 9 p.m. Britain. That is very good. That is after our own program. We would have finished our program. That is 11 p.m. here in Ukraine. Very good. Very good. So 4 p.m. Eastern.
It's very easy to be a millionaire. So easy. So I want to teach people how to make it. And then I want to become a millionaire.
They should go to your Facebook page.
Yeah, Jefferson Uzoma.
Okay. Somebody put this link, Facebook page there. And you want to do what?
But financial intelligence class where I teach people. So tomorrow I'm teaching on how to acquire a $1 million asset within the next 12 months. How can you have $1 million in assets for retirement? Because people keep saving for retirement and they never.
So anybody could just come and join you, live Facebook.
Yes, sir. Yes. Anybody can come and join me on Facebook tomorrow at 4 p.m. I actually did a broadcast a couple days ago to advertise it. So tomorrow I will start teaching on how you can, if you're thinking of retirement, how can you have, within the next 12 months alone, acquire $1 million in assets. I'm going to teach practical steps. This is not spiritual, money will locate you. We're talking now. No. We're talking about phone numbers, we're talking about websites, we're talking about steps, physical steps you can take on earth, not in heaven, to acquire $1 million in assets.
You mean without prayer and fasting?
You don't need to pray about it.
Without going to the mountain.
You don't need to go to the mountain. Even if you're a dummy, you say millionaire, just come around me.
Wow.
Even if you have a quarter of a brain, I'll make you a millionaire. That's guaranteed.
Yes, because there are principles and laws and steps, concrete steps. Okay, so then you can talk. Is that the classes you want to talk about? What do you call the classes?
I call it the financial intelligence class.
Okay.
Yeah, financial intelligence class. So we'll be having it on Sundays 4 p.m. I have so many topics to talk on financing because it comes easy to me, and especially for even here in the United States, I see so many Africans. They come here, they do the kind of things they do. I'm wondering why can't you just use your mind and find something better that will give you better prospects? Some of them work like multiple jobs. Some they work nurse, they do this, they do that. I'm like, this is redundant. There are better ways to be financially independent.
The other advice I will have for you is that you have to make it compulsory for them as they are listening to you that they must get connected to either DSA platform or the teachings on YouTube so that they will become kingdom minded as well. It will change their value systems and they will be God addicted rather than, because they will still be, some of them will just be coming for the money, but we want to let them know that life is more than these things. Yes, they must discover the secret of life itself.
That's true. And I 100% agree with you. If you're not kingdom minded and kingdom transformed, this is just going to, it will destroy you.
Yes. And then another thing you have to do is that you have to make sure that as they are following you, if they are not on DSA platform or if they are on ground there with you in the US, they must try their best to become your disciples.
Yes, sir.
So that they are mentored. They are mentored just like you have been mentored. They also must be mentored.
Yes, sir.
And some of them might even need deliverance from those churches and their religion.
That's true.
Because if they will remain in some of those atmospheres, environments, they will just, see all kind of things will be mixed up with it.
That's true.
But once they are kingdom addicted anyway, they themselves will get free.
That's true. And Pastor, one thing is, this thing you buttress is the key to everything. Kingdom. That's the key to everything. I can literally help them get there, but at the end of the day, they will become like one of these people out there who doesn't understand what is the purpose for money, what is the purpose for kingdom wealth. They wouldn't have any clue, and it's going to be a waste of my time and energy. Produce another selfish human being. So kingdom first. So that your messages are already there. I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I just need to tie them to it and make sure that they are following that, because at the end of the day, that will pay them the more once they can understand the purpose of wealth and understanding the kingdom message, and being able to be transformed and revolutionized. And then we're going to have, at some point, I'm going to set up an internal club. So at that point, I'm not start pushing those who don't want to be part of the kingdom or whatever.
Yes.
So I'm going to form a club, Kingdom Club, for millionaires. Want to raise millionaires for the kingdom, so that they can see that this thing is just principles. It's not about, Pastor, I'm so annoyed at all the time I wasted at those finance conventions. It was just a waste of my time. And the way you talk about it, that people go to church and waste their time, a lot of people still don't understand what you're talking about up till now. They're speaking against it because their mind transformed. The religion is still covering their eyes.
And I think that is one of your calling. Maybe through this financial something could actually be a net to actually attract them, then deliver them. Because one of the main mandates that God will use you to do is to deliver people who really have good intentions in churches but are being wasted. Because when you said you are 41, then the normal question to me is, so what have been happening all these years?
It's a waste of time, sir.
And there might be even more people, older people than you, who have been in churches even longer time than you, and they are just being wasted.
Oh, yes, sir. So I know a lot of them already, wasting their time in church, just doing mundane things, rituals. It's just repetitive. Every year, the man of God will come out and lay hands on everybody again. The same man will come out after year. For the past 10 years, the same man is laying hands on your head. What is happening?
Wow.
It's a waste of time. So I don't play with DSA. I don't play with everybody in my house knows that I don't play with DSA. Messages are going on every time, every time, and something is playing somewhere in the background. Even if it's something I catch, there's no time to waste anymore. And there was this message one teaching you had, the way you brought out the jar of water. That message finished me. When you were pouring that water away, I was like, oh my God, this is it. I'm done. I'm finished. When you were pouring that water, at the point I was thinking, point this water is enough. I've heard you. So this is the end. It was just the perfect analogy. And you see, sometimes when you demonstrate some of these things on your live broadcast, people don't understand. There's another message you taught on who will win, and you brought two ladies to fight over something.
Yes.
That message is stuck in my brain up to tomorrow, up to next year, forever and ever. I saw those ladies contest for it. I don't sit down anymore for things to happen. I go make them happen. I fight for it. That is those who will win in life. So that representation you made that day was like, wow. So when you were talking about, the first time you came to America, you were at the Senate. The next time you were United Nations, I said, how did you do it? Then I now tied it to that message.
Yes.
Those who will like to contest for it. I said, yes, it's secret. Okay.
But the religion will tell you to wait for the will of God.
They'll tell you, if it is the will of God, it will happen. What will be, will be. It's Sera. Spirit of God will come. Don't worry. When he will do his thing, you too will be shocked. And then you will sit down. Oh my God. You sit down and be waiting like a fool.
By the way, I know that you have to go now. We have to read comments and hear what people are saying about you. Thank you so very much, Jefferson.
Thank you, sir.
What?
The wisdom that you share. The wisdom.
What is wisdom?
You share your wisdom. Is it just
I've already given it. Yeah, he got it already.
Hello guys, welcome back. Well, I welcome myself back because you've been here all along. Hello Vivian, good evening. Yes, I am one of them older than 41, wasted too much time, but plan to help as many as I can, not to do the same because of ignorance. Thank you very much, Vivian, for sharing that. Pastor Uches is laughing, lols. Albertina says, I am addicted to DSA's teaching. I sleep with the headphones in my ears. I think many people do. Albertina says, it's very crucial to be kingdom-minded. Yes, absolutely. Lisa is saying, getting free to do what God creates you to do. Albertina, everyone needs the kingdom. Lisa, kingdom-minded. Vivian says, that's right, life is more than money. Yetunde says, Jefferson Uzoma. I think that's just praising you. Stephen is saying, DSA, please provide his contacts. Okay, we provided, I think you're asking for Jefferson's contact. So Jefferson's contact is Jefferson Uzoma on Facebook. So you can message him through there, Steve. Pastor Nate says, no mountain, no prayer and fasting. Yetunde says, wow. Lisa says 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UK, 11 p.m. Kyiv. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Lisa. This is for Jefferson's broadcast from tomorrow. Pastor Uche says, ha ha ha. Jane says, you cannot improve with those financial convention. In fact, you become poorer because you have to pay large sums of money to attend those programs. And they tell you it's registration fee. Albertina says, I am reading Money Would Make You Rich, and my mind is already been renewed. Well done. Oriyomi says, Brother Jeff, God will bless you more and more for this deep secret you're bold enough to speak about. Lisa says, Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern, I am on it. Vivian says, I will be there. Justin again says, you're so right, King Jefferson. No, Houston. No, Houston. Houston. Sorry, Houston. Amarachi says, very true. The wealth of the wicked will be given to us is the kind of teaching we were hearing. Ojo says, I just pray my uncle listens to this. You can send it to him. Don't pray. Make it happen, Pelumi. Justine says, you are what you eat. If you eat junk, you produce junk. Yetunde says, Oga, make money in heaven. This pastor have done a lot of havoc to God's people. Jane says, Lord, make money in heaven. Laugh out loud, make money in heaven. Everyone is laughing about that. You are what you eat. We were buried in religion. That's Albertina saying that again as well. Jane says, what King Jefferson? What King Jefferson? Those miracles are fake. Someone once told me, but I did not listen to them because I was so religious and engrossed in ministry. Lots of people laughing about these fake miracles. Terrible. Yesterday also says, wow, creating fictitious testimonies. Unbelievable. Pastor Uche says, this is deceit. God have mercy. Easy Horn says, we are so religiously blind down here, including those that say they know they ought to know. So we're so religiously blind down here, including those that say they know that ought to know. Okay. Albertina says, because of DSA, I started to read the Bible all over again with a clearer understanding. Well done. Good job. Amarachi says, experience is not true. Something I learned from DSA. Georgia says, if only religion will allow people to listen to you, it will bring a whole lot of change. Easy says, errors, not just mistakes. Vivian says, wow, Jefferson, it's a big difference to have access. I feel closer to DSA than I ever felt with any pastor I've ever had. You are too practical, Jojo is saying that. Pastor Ennis says, the same thing happened to me. I'm unable to listen to any other pastor anymore because I see mistakes everywhere. Jojo says, only 2 weeks of listening to you. Word is not enough to describe what God has done in my life through you. Mofelola says, is saying good evening to you, Pastor. Easy says, Pastor, we have a lot to deal with down here with both the blind people, captives, in bracket, and the pastors, captors. Jane is saying, religion is suffocating. King Jefferson, laugh out loud. I believe you considered the ministry you were in. Amarachi says, why I majorly stopped going to church? Because I am filtering everything and it's not even a Nigerian church. So many loopholes, sorry, that's Ojo Pelumi saying that. DSA has the complete package, that's Albertina. Jefferson is now a one-way traffic, that's from Yetunde. Thank God we met DSA, that's Uche Chukwu, Pastor Uche Chukwu. Okay, guys, religion is a killer. That's what Albertina. Okay, guys, we're back in just 20 minutes. So this is a time for you to get your teas and coffee and have a break. So we'll see you shortly. That's in 20 minutes to continue the program on truth. What's the main title? The Plague of Silence. Sorry about that. The Plague of Silence. So we're going to see you soon in 20 minutes. Join us again. And please don't forget to share this and also inform other people that the Plague of Silence will continue at 9 p.m. See you soon. Bye.